Welcome everyone to another episode of Kiwi Talks. I'm honoured to have my guests today, who are from the New Zealand Army. I'd like to welcome Sergeant Lloyd Rakaupai and Sergeant Melissa Lusty. Thank you guys for coming through.
Hey Reece, thank you for having us.
That's all right. I'm hoping you can educate me on the New Zealand Army. And so how did you guys decide that the New Zealand Army was going to be your thing? How did you decide that you wanted to get into the Army? Was it always something you wanted to do, or was it something you just, a spirit of the moment, just decided to do?
Probably for myself, I actually didn't know what I wanted to do.
If you just move a bit closer there. Yep.
When I was at school, I think it was my last year at high school, New Plymouth Girls High, I went to one of the work experience weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call them these days, but... And then, I got to stay in Linton for a week. And then from there, at the end of the year, I was still like, what am I going to do? And then just filled out the application online and jumped on the bus.
Oh, yeah. Was it how you thought it would be?
Nah, I guess I just sort of went with an open mind.
Yeah.
Everyone was pretty excited that I was going away. My family, I guess, I live in a small town, so to leave and jump on the bus and head off. I don't know. I just went with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Lloyd?
I think for me it was in my family. So my grandfather or my great grandfather was in the Māori battalion. Also, my grandfather on my mother's side served compulsory service, so it was always there.
Yeah.
But then my brother also joined the Navy. And so my father asked me, he said, boy, what are you going to do? And I actually told him I wanted to snowboard for the rest of my life, but he said no, because I'm a Waikato boy, I'm a farm boy from the mighty Taumaranui.
Oh, yeah.
But he said, no, you're joining the Army, so that was me. That was my only option, so I had to listen to my father, so yeah, that was pretty much how I done it.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough. So how often or how many people do you get on average a year trying to enlist within the Army?
Oh, well, I recruit for the Defence Force in general, so Army, Air Force, and
right.
Navy.
Okay. Yep,
so we have a lot of people apply. The numbers, I'm not really sure of the numbers, but there is a lot. And I think it just comes down to it is a great career. There are a lot of things that people can do in the Defence Force, but it comes down to also why people want to join. I guess for myself was because I'm a farm boy. I have that protective nature and like to serve, and being brought up with my Māori culture and on a marae, I wanted to continue that. And then being in the Defence Force, I have been able to continue that. And now, I never thought I'd be a recruiter. Yeah. But I get to do that cool stuff and go to schools and go to the field days and stuff like that. And I think that's when you met me.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's pretty random how everything's all worked out, but it's pretty awesome at the same time.
So how do you guys assess people when they want to enlist? Because you obviously have to make sure that they're physically fit, right?
Yep.
And psychologically stable.
Yep.
So how do you assess people? Like, can you immediately tell from meeting someone where they're like, nah, this is not the career for you?
So as a defence recruiter, there are stages they have to go through.
Yeah.
There are boxes they need to tick, and i.e. fitness is one of them. But then also qualifications like NCA, they need to meet the minimum standards. Minimum standards being NCA level 1. Mm-hmm. And then other requirements like health, medical requirements and security requirements. But
when you say security requirements, what do you mean exactly?
So typically we don't recruit people who have a criminal record, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Because when you're wearing this uniform, you've got to uphold certain values and standards.
Yeah.
But typically, as a defence recruiter, you can kind of tell certain people that maybe they might struggle in some areas, but some people have surprised us.
Yeah,
definitely.
What would you be able to give a rough percentage of people that surprised you? Or you probably, because how long have you been a recruiter now?
So I've been a recruiter now. This is my 3rd year.
Yeah.
But typically, if you look at someone and go, they'll make a good individual in the Defence Force,
Yeah.
I can generally speak someone making a good soldier in the army. I can typically pick that up, but where people surprise us every day. Like I even had a assessment day yesterday, and some people surprised me on I didn't know they'll do so well on certain aspects, but they did, and it is enjoyable seeing people do well in certain areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a psychological test that you guys that the people have to do when they enlist?
So there is,
or is it like an interview sort of process?
Yeah. So the first process they have to go through, like what I said, the medical checks.
Yeah.
And then medical checks, and then they've got to do.
What are like psychological, because I would imagine it would probably be a small number, but there'd probably be some people that have. Yeah, that just want to get their hands maybe on a gun, so they have an itchy trigger.
Yeah. So through the medical stuff, their medical history, that's all covered through there. So that's like the basic medical checks there, and then when they come through, they have to pass our written tests. Then after that,
is that multiple choice, or do they have to write out?
So some of them are multiple. Yeah, some of them are multiple choice. They actually haven't changed the tests. They've only changed them slightly, and then over the time, like when I tell the individuals that come through the testing that I done the same testing as them. So yeah, but then they have to go for an interview phase as well.
Yeah,
and depending on
is the interview phase with you, like one-on-one with you, or
it depends on
or is it like a panel of people?
So it depends on what kind of what trade they're going for.
Right.
So typically, I can speak on the Waikato region.
Yeah.
I would generally maybe interview some of the individuals going for Army or Navy, and then we have another individual working on office who will recruit people who are looking at applying for the Airforce and Navy. However, I can interview people going for all trades. So,
yeah. Okay.
That's because I have a better understanding of the trade. I'm not going to interview someone who's looking at going for the Air Force if I have an Air Force counterpart in the office. So
of course,
works out perfectly.
Oh yeah. And do you often get people that enlist that are really, really good on the physical aspect, but then maybe they have some medical problems or something that prevents them from being able to enlist? Would there be, because I would imagine there'd be some people that enlist that wouldn't even know what the medical requirements are.
And that's how you filter them out through the processes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have heaps of people who find out things about themselves that they never actually knew. Like we have individuals who never knew that they were colorblind, for instance.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we have that test as well, just a basic colorblindness test. But yeah, we've had people come through like that as well.
Oh wow. Okay. So would there be some people that come in though with a massive attitude problem?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you quickly sort them out.
Oh well, what do you mean by if you mean by sorting them out?
Well, I don't mean like physically hitting them or anything, but
no.
But you know how you're watching like some of those films, those military films or anything.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Bag it.
Yeah. I guess when it comes down to, if individuals come out like that, then the written tests, kind of that sorts them out, or our physical tests, that sorts them out, because they can see that, hey, maybe I'm not so good at the written stuff, or maybe I'm not as fit as what I thought I was.
Yeah. Is there? Do you have a balance of both female and male that enlist, or is it predominantly male?
Or are you
having more females these days?
Yeah. So we're definitely pushing for more females to join the Defence Force, but males and females, I wouldn't really know on the demographic on what individuals we do recruit, but yeah, we'd love to recruit more females into our organisation, and Melissa can probably talk more about that.
Yeah, do you want to elaborate?
Which part?
Well, just in terms of what you see in terms of females enlisting, do you see the number increasing?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely has increased from when I joined. There's sort of like a handful of us in each trade, sort of thing. And then definitely over the years, there's been more and more females coming into the Defence Force, which is great.
Yeah, that's good.
And-
That's good.
Yeah, and just equality and all that good stuff.
I'm wondering, I had a guest on last week, Professor Holly Thorpe. She does sports sociology, and she was stating that esports, like video games, might be incorporated into the Olympics.
Oh, okay, yep.
And I'm wondering in this day and age, because I would imagine that video games has become this huge thing, that it might prevent people from doing a lot of physical fitness. So I'm wondering if a lot of younger people these days, would there be a drop-off in enlisting from young people as a result, or they don't meet the criteria, or have you had to bring down the criteria a bit in order for some people to meet it?
Is it just regards fitness?
Yeah,
Also,
in regards to fitness, because I know a lot of people that just sit on their ass and just play video games. So, like, they don't do any physical fitness.
So for our standards, over the years, it's definitely changed from, I guess, when I joined.
Yeah.
When I joined, I had to do a 2.4K run, and then now it's a thing called a beep test. Have you done one of those before?
Oh, yeah, I've done those. I'm terrible.
Yeah. So that's really much the
Just take it down.
That's the standard now is beep tests, press ups and sit ups.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like the generation now, they're more unfit or whatever. We still keep those standards.
Yeah.
And we get individuals who come in and smash the standards. So, and we still need those. We still need those type of people to come through who have play video games or whatever, because they are good at certain things. So
the trade zone specific.
What specifically would they be good at? Like anything involving like problem solving?
Communications.
Yeah, communications, signals. So people that want to either work with computers or.
You don't allow mobile phones or social media on site, do you?
In our defence force bases.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Only in certain buildings, if there's security or anything like that, then they might have to put them away or turn them off. Or whatever.
Generally, though, just like any other job, have our phones on us and
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think a big one.
I'm just very surprised.
what do you think we really do?
Yeah.
Well, this is why I have you here. So I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of the drills and everything that you do, so when you first joined, what was some of the stuff you had to do when you first got enlisted? Both of you. Yeah.
Sort of drills like.
Oh, just what you do on a day-to-day basis, because I don't think a lot of people actually know what the New Zealand Army does.
So,
I mean, it's not like you guys are often going to war or anything.
Yeah.
So.
When I first joined, I was sent to my company in Linton, 10th Transport Company.
Yeah.
So I'm a driver by trade.
Oh, wow.
And then, depending on what was going on, you might sweep the yard a little bit. Because obviously when you first joined, you had no licenses, like you weren't qualified, and you'd have to wait for courses to come about. So then you could jump on your courses and then be qualified. So I was actually really lucky. As soon as I joined, I got to jump straight on a course that got me my Class 2 truck license,
Okay.
heavy truck license, and my dangerous goods and forklift.
How long does it take to get that?
That
license?
was 30 days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty small.
And then,
Small chunk of time.
and then from there, obviously, you're like, sweet, got my license. And then so part of that is that we have familiarization courses as well for the different vehicles.
Yeah.
And that can be a week to 2 weeks long, depending on what the vehicle is. And you'll get qualified, so then you can go out on your own and you're good to go and do tasks, whatever
Do you
they
push?
make you do.
Do you push a lot of the people into doing different courses? You're like, you'd be good at if you do this course, or you should do this course, or.
So with each trade, you generally have to do the courses.
Oh, you have
as
to
part
do
of your
that course.
trade. Yeah.
Yep.
There are other all arms courses that you may or may not do,
Yeah.
but each trade will have specific courses so that you can grow, learn, get promoted, and then go into different roles in that trade.
Right. Oh, okay. Interesting. Have you guys ever been involved with anything though that you wouldn't expect? Like I remember watching this behind the scenes footage of Lord of the Rings, and the New Zealand Army was actually involved in that.
Yeah. So I think I'm not really. I wasn't
This?
there.
yeah.
So
I think this is back in like 2001 or something.
Yeah. I remember someone talking about that they got some of the guys and been playing like orcs, I think.
Yeah, well, I know there was this one bit, I think, in Return of the King where they're running towards like the Black Gate, but it was shot, I think, near Mount Ngauahoe, Mount Ruapehu.
Yeah.
And apparently, because you guys do a lot of training and stuff around that area,
Yeah.
and they were worried that there were mines
Uh-huh.
in the ground, and so they had to sweep the area to make sure there were no
they
mines.
should have been all cordoned off. Like if there were areas. they'd just
but
be-
I think they were still worried because they feel they're like, oh, we're pretty certain we got rid of all the mines, and then they got all of the cars to like run.
We think so.
Yeah, but they weren't completely sure. It's in the behind the scenes footage, I think, of Return of the King or something. And I remember watching that, I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how that stuff even happens.
So
like how would something like that, like how would you get involved in a film set or anything? Do they ever shoot any films where your military area is?
Well, what's that film called with the boy? In the wilderness or whatever it's called. That.
Hunt for the Wilderpeople.
Oh yeah. Is that it? And they shoot that part in the zone.
Oh, is that with the police cars and everything?
and they're chasing them.
And
That's
the tank and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, was
That's
that
in our-
shot there?
It's in our training area.
I didn't even know. I didn't know.
It's zone 1.
Yeah.
So have you guys driven a tech?
I haven't. It's probably the only thing I haven't actually driven.
I definitely haven't. That's not my trade. So.
No.
Yeah.
Do you want to drive tech?
Yeah, that'd be cool. If I think I have arcs before, but definitely wasn't allowed.
Do you need a license or something?
Yeah,
Sure.
so as I was saying before with the familiarisation courses.
Yeah.
So for me, I've got the license to drive it, but I haven't done the FAM.
The FAM.
The familiarisation
Oh, right,
course.
okay. Sorry.
So I know all the buttons and gadgets of the vehicle and know actually how to drive it.
Yeah.
Getting taught how to actually drive it.
Well, how would you? Yeah. Would it be that difficult to drive though? Because it can't move at much fast speeds, can it?
The tank.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How fast can it go?
Lav.
Yeah.
Jeez, they go at least 120.
I don't know. Maybe because I see on films, it
They're
looks
on
like
the
they're
main
slow
roads.
in comparison to a car. Maybe I don't know.
So with our labs, they're able to go on the roads. They're legal to drive on our roads, and so they go up to 100 k's.
Hold on. Which roads are we talking here? Like
The
around the
roads.
military area, like normal roads.
Normal roads,
Yeah.
general public roads.
Okay. All right. But then the big ass tanks, obviously not. I think I saw a tank on Trade Me.
What do we have bigger than
Oh, we don't have any big tanks you might be thinking of.
Yeah.
We just have the how many wheels are they got? 6 wheels.
6 wheels.
Oh, so that's a pin scar.
Oh,
So a lab, I'm sure they have about eight.
I'm not really sure.
Let's have a look.
Hold it
That's
up to
not
the
our
camera.
trade specific,
Hold it
sorry.
up to the camera.
Yes, sorry. It's, 8
Eight.
wheels.
8 wheels.
Yep. So that's it.
So can you guys fly? Oh wow.
So that thing.
Oh nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys fly a helicopter or anything?
No.
Do you know that stuff? No.
No. Again, though, I would love to learn how to do that. That'd be pretty awesome.
So how do you decide, like, if you wanted to, let's say hypothetically that you wanted to learn how to fly a helicopter, what would be the process for you now?
You have to service change.
Yeah, so that trade there is only in the Navy and the Air Force. So,
Oh, okay. So there's no military like helicopters.
yep.
What-
So that's in the Navy and Air
Navy,
Force.
okay.
So
Have you ever had someone that enlists in the army and then you say to them, "Well, maybe you'd be better in the Air Force or the"?
Oh yeah,
Or the
yeah,
net-
yeah,
yeah?
yeah. So definitely. So we, as a recruiter, that's what we do, and that's our job to kind of maybe change them to a different trade or whatever. And we find that out through the interview phase. However, when they join as well, they can potentially change later on, say after 3 years or something like that, and go and do another trade.
So they could change trades within the army, or they could service change and change from Navy to Air Force. Or
Is that a quick process? I mean, how long would that take? I wouldn't imagine it would be straightforward.
No, it does.
nothing's-
It does take a while. It all depends on coursing, if they have the availability for that individual to change over.
Yeah.
if they perform well or not. So,
Is there a, like, out of the Air Force, the Navy, and the Army, which one would get the most people enlisting?
Army is the biggest.
Yeah. Do you advertise them all equally in terms of how you get the word out?
Yep.
So when you go to schools,
Yep.
you're speaking about all three, or do you focus in on one
No,
particular area?
We speak about all three of them. Obviously, Army, because Army's the biggest, and people see Army most of the time.
Yeah.
People don't really see the Air Force.
Yeah.
Or the Navy, really. So that's why people are like, oh, you must be in the Army. And then my colleague who's in the Air Force, people think he's in the Navy. And
I think, some people get them mixed up, the Navy and the Air Force.
And then he's got
because doesn't the uniform look similar, doesn't it?
Oh,
same.
it does. It does look similar, even though he's got like Air Force on his shirt. People still say, "Oh, are you
and a plane on his shoulder."
People aren't observant.
Yeah.
But we do all wear the same. We all have the same MCO uniform.
Yeah.
But they'll just have different patches to represent.
So do you like with that uniform? Is there thick padding underneath it?
Oh no, that's just natural, mate.
Oh, sorry about it.
No, so we have different types of uniform.
Yeah.
So this is just our everyday dress, and then we have uniform for when we go away on training and stuff like that.
So what type? So how was that uniform different to that one?
The one was training has pads on the shoulders, so when we wear our webbing and our pack and stuff, it assists with that. And then it has different material that's more breathable, so we don't overheat.
True.
Yeah, but we are looking at getting different types of uniform now. I think it's some of it's already come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just changing it up again.
Yeah.
So do you guys for military training? Do you sometimes have to go out in the wilderness and stay there for like a couple of days?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Like how often would you guys do that?
So when you first join, either Air Force, Army, or Navy, you have to do or used to do a 3-month basic training. It's now 4 months, and during that time, you'll learn the basics of the Air Force, Army, and Navy. Specifically for the Army, we have to go away and work in, we call it the field environment, or working in Waiouru military training area.
Yeah.
And that's where we learn the skills on
Just basic soldiering skills,
basic
weapon
stuff,
handling, how to put up a huchi, which is a little tent.
What's it called?
Huchi.
Huchi.
Yeah.
Is that like a slang name, or is that like its actual name? Oh, Huchi.
Actual name.
Yeah, I remember looking it up, Huchi. So if you look it up on Google, it's a
Huchi?
It's a cool.
How's it spelled? HOOTCHIE?
Yeah.
Yep.
Huchi.
Yep.
I'm writing that down. I gotta check that out afterwards. Huchi. Okay.
What else do you
But
learn?
you get taught all that stuff. Even down to like how to cook. Some people have never ever cooked of what do you call them, the fire starters, and like making noodles.
So do you have the full-on camping gear?
Yeah, like the ration packs, so like the
Yeah.
24-hour packs, we have those, and we teach them how to cook those. And
I guess it is like camping.
Yeah, like
just
camp.
a bit more restriction.
Yeah. So is it done in groups?
Yep.
You don't just send someone out and just be like
No.
on their own and be like fend for yourself for like a day.
So everything you do in the military,
Yeah.
you're taught it first, and then you demonstrated it, and then they'll watch you, make sure you know how to do it, and then they might let you go and practice it by yourself. So everything is taught.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool though when you get to go out and in the wilderness with your group of people and cook your stuff, and you're like, wow, this is so cool. I've got my 2-minute pack of noodles. And
I guess that's when you really start to learn about yourself as well.
Yeah.
Being putting into that environment.
So with you guys particularly, was there a specific point where like you did something that you didn't think you were capable of? Like
I feel like it's happened a lot in my career. I don't know if I just lack confidence or what, but even just some of the physical activities like pack marching,
yeah.
I don't know, say 12 Ks, with your 25 to 30 kgs on your back, it can be quite challenging.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I would say a huge thing is mental strength and just learning how to push yourself, and that you just got to keep going. And I have definitely grown a lot in that area.
So do you see some of your colleagues who like might be struggling psychologically, and then you be like, hey, yeah, you can do this?
That's huge. Team.
Yeah, team.
Yep. And
there's no I in team.
That's right.
Yeah. So you push that. But do you ever get some people though that try to, because maybe they've been conditioned from a young age to just try and fend for themselves and do everything on their own, and you have to retrain them to kind of you do this as a team?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, and so you 99% of the time you're in a team, you're in a section at the least. Whatever you're doing, especially in the field environment when you're training out there, and they say you're as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah.
So you have to work together.
Right.
And make sure that person's up to scratch, and you're supporting that person. Yeah.
So how are you guys, like, were you guys, this might have been a bit before your time, like in terms of like the Christchurch earthquake and stuff, like how would the army be involved?
So I went down and delivered portaloos to residential areas where obviously their systems had been affected. And
so you have to drive down?
Did I drive? I think, yeah, I did. There's a group. So what?
Because you'd have to drive. Because your base is
I was in
near
Linton.
the summit of near Mount Ruapehu. So you'd have to drive down to Wellington, get on the boat, and then drive all the way down to Christchurch.
At that time in my career, I was posted to Linton in Palmerston North.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and where I was working, we were doing sort of rotation with drivers. So like every week, drivers would go down, do supporting, however, delivering toilets, for example, and then a section would come back, and just rotating out like that for weeks.
Well, there's still, I mean, I just went down there recently and they're still rebuilding. So I can't even imagine, because I hadn't been there prior to the earthquakes. So I have I can't compare anything. So it must have been pretty bad when you were down there.
Yeah, seen some bits and pieces. I mean, I wasn't there straight away. I probably went down about maybe 3, maybe even 4 weeks after it happened, that people were still needing supplies and bits and pieces.
So how long does it take the New Zealand Army to respond when an event like that happens?
Well, we were down there. There was a ship down there.
So there was
at the time.
When that earthquake happened, there was an actual exercise, a Defence Force exercise. So you had the Army, Air Force, and Navy. They were already there. They were already there. And then it happened, and then they were actually waiting to go down there.
That's okay.
The Canterbury ship was at Littleton.
Yeah.
Got rocked.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Were you?
I wasn't on it, but my partner was on it.
So you're on the ship. And,
yeah. For my trade, so I'm an engineer by trade. Our jobs down there was to get ready to build bridges for any damaged bridges or anything like that. And then our other job was to supply drinkable water for the city. So we have these units called reverse osmosis units, which sit in shipping containers, and we put them down at the beach and turn salt water into fresh water.
Oh, wow. So how long does that process take?
I'm not really sure because I'm not qualified in that unit. But that was our main job. And we had people coming up just continuously grabbing water because there was a struggle there to get fresh water at the time.
Yeah. And
then we had other individuals in the CBD itself assisting with people as well. Yeah, so it was a pretty horrific time.
Yeah. I bet. Because you know how sometimes there might be an earthquake way off, near Samoa or something, and then there's a tsunami warning. Are you guys immediately on standby while you're waiting to see if it's going to hit New Zealand?
Yeah.
Long time.
I would say our two trades are pretty much in there. So
yeah.
Is there does the army have there been excessive talks about climate change and sea level rise and how you guys can prepare for an event like that if I don't know the seas raised by like 10 meters or 8 meters or something?
We go and help out in a country called Tuvalu, which is out in one of the Pacific Islands. So we've been there a couple of times, Army, Air Force and Navy,
Yeah.
Specifically, I can talk about my trade going over there. Same again to help out with fresh water.
Yeah.
Because a couple of times they do run out of water, which is pretty essential.
So were you there recently?
I wasn't there recently, and I haven't been there, but my trade has been over there a couple of times.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But we're always getting ready to help out in
So you guys are always prepared for worst case scenarios.
So just generally at my work, we have a system, or I don't know what you call it. It's called Opafina, and we're always ready to go. Like we're always have our always stating how many vehicles we got for transport.
Yeah.
And then the supplier will be like how many ration packs they've got on standby. We're always ready to go if anything happens. And that's even just in New Zealand. Bad weather is like, if there's a storm coming, we're always like just double checking, making sure that we're all good and what's available and the people that are around, so that when it does happen, we're ready to move.
Do you guys have like a contingency plan or like some type of second military base? Like say if Mount Ruape, because you guys are like right by Mount Ruape here.
Oh, yeah, so
if like a massive eruption happened,
yeah.
like that would pretty much be wiped out, that base, wouldn't it?
So we have 5 army bases in New Zealand. We have 3 Air Force bases in New Zealand and 1 Navy base.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they're all scattered, I imagine?
All scattered. So everyone thinks that if you're in the military, you live in Waiouru. But no, it's, we have, quite a few bases.
Yeah.
And then we have satellite bases all over New Zealand. So for us,
okay.
we work in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where's the military base in Hamilton?
Oh, so it's just a building.
Oh, just a building.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys are just based.
Yeah.
Do you ever get people, with the base that's based at Waiouru, do you ever get people that are trespassing? Like, just says, do not go here, and then people still go there. And I know with drones, for example, people just flying them anywhere. I got a drone a while back, and there's a CAA. They've got like a map that shows you where you can and can't fly.
Yeah.
And there's a massive section, obviously, that covers
Yep.
the military base. But I know a lot of people that they don't even check that.
Yep.
So I'd imagine there'd still be people that fly their drone.
Yeah, you get people, especially in Waiouru, who, like to take photos and stuff and go, especially with Mount Ruape right there.
Yeah.
Might venture off into the wrong area.
Even when there's signs there?
Even when there's signs there, like I remember, especially there's an area where Mount Ruape was, where we do a lot of our demolitions training, but it's over a K away from the main highway. But that's why, just for people's safety, you got to make sure you listen to the signs because it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people do like to venture out.
Have you ever had like people flying drones around there though? Like,
No, I've never seen that.
you've never seen that? Because if they did, it'd be shot out of the sky straight away, wouldn't it?
No, it wouldn't.
No?
No.
You'd just
It'd
be
be a
like,
sighting report, and then it would feed back, and then there'd probably be another sign.
Yeah.
No, something like that.
It'd be only if someone ventured into an area where people were training. You would get someone probably turn up and say, hey, you might have to turn around because this is a military area and you're not supposed to be in here.
well, the problem is with the drone, right, is you can fly it like K's away from where you're even standing. So I could be, say, standing here, and then I'm flying the drone out at like Hamilton Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
guess-
you wouldn't even be able to tell the person, hey, you're flying it in the wrong area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking, like, would you just shoot it out of the sky?
No.
Well,
I wouldn't do
there's got to be someone there to do it as well.
Yeah.
It's not always someone training in Waiouru.
Yeah.
I mean,
The reason why I've asked is obviously you see in the news a lot about how people are flying drones around
but
airports.
it is definitely coming to the attention of the military and just how accessible the drones are and what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. They're easily accessible to the public.
But it hasn't really filtered down anything too serious yet for us in any of the camps or anything.
Does the army use drones?
Yeah, we've got
Yep.
drones.
Yep.
How big are they?
Oh, I'm not sure actually. I've seen pictures of them, but yeah, I don't
Are
know.
they small, like the ones, the accessible ones, or have you got those? You know how you see
big
them,
ones.
like
about
like the big. Have you got both, or are they just?
I have no idea.
And are some of them autonomous, or do you have to fly? Someone has to fly them manually.
I've only seen them being flown manually.
Yeah. So you guys, would you be keen to fly a drone?
I think Any questions
fine.
around driving tanks, helicopters, drones, I would say I'm keen to drive anything.
Are most people who enlist, do they ask these type of questions?
Like, have you shot anyone?
Well, no. Well, I haven't asked you that question yet.
Well, yeah, people do ask, like, have you driven a tank, blah, 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 like what you have asked.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no, I haven't because it's not my trade. However, I'll be keen as to do that.
Yeah. Because I think some people just think you're in the army, you can drive a tank, you shoot you're shooting guns all the time, and I think there might be some. I would imagine you guys would probably have people asking you questions because there's a lot of misperception.
Yeah,
Too many movies.
Yeah, as to what you guys do, and but in a lot of the movies that have been watched, they'll be based on American military, which is very different to New Zealand military.
We're too small. We're really just about supporting other elements. We're not going to go out there and cause a war on our own.
So what happens? What happens if there is, like, let's say, I don't know, America went to war with China or something because we're allied with America.
Yep.
What would happen in terms of the support you'd give to America? Would you just simply send a whole bunch of people there to assist?
I mean, really, would we have that much effect? I don't know. I mean, one of America's bases is like the size of our whole military. They're huge over there.
Yeah. But you know how, like, every time America's gone to war, Australia and New Zealand have assisted in some way. So I'm just wondering what the process is.
I guess it depends on the whole situation and if they actually requested our assistance. And it depends what they're looking for. There might be just specific trades that they need more support in that area or whatever it is that they're doing. They might be like, oh, we need 100 engineers. We've got to build this bridge or something. Can you guys support us that way? Or we need 100 drivers because we've got to move this from this place to this place. Yeah. It'd be more the background work, behind the scenes stuff that would probably be more utilised for.
I'm not sure if you guys would know, but do you know how much communication the Defence Force has with the government?
Sorry, say that again?
With our government.
With our government, not America's government or anything, but our government in terms of they might, in terms of funding or additional money or sending troops. Like, say, if some war broke out, let's say in Hong Kong or something, and the government would probably obviously have some talks with you guys in regards to.
So it filters down.
Yeah.
We're just a number kind of thing. In the bigger picture, we do our jobs and everything, but we don't generally have a say on anything that happens up in the government department.
Well, how far would it filter down before it reaches you guys? Because
it would eventually come all the way, but there's obviously a process. And it depends what it is.
Okay, because I don't know the structure. So after sergeant, what's the next ranking? What's above sergeant?
Oh, so when you join, so Air Force, Army, and Navy, they have their own different rank structures.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's actually heaps of them, so I don't even think I can even say them all. But you can either start as a starting person, like a trainee. Yeah, you can either go through two pathways. You can go through the officer pathway, which is the manager pathway. Yeah. Or like the worker pathway. And then, so mine and Melissa's pathway, we were like the workers. And then we started from the bottom. So Melissa started as a private, I started as a sapper. There are different names for different jobs. And we can just keep going up and up until we get to a certain stage where we might end up changing over to become an officer or something like that. And then we can keep progressing. The good thing about the Defence Force is that you can continuously progress through. Yeah,
well, you'd have a lot of options in terms of where you can move.
Yeah. And then there was a great person, Jerry Mataparai. He actually started from the bottom and went all the way up, and he actually became New Zealand's Governor General. So.
Oh, true. Yeah. So would you guys want to be Governor General?
Wow. Don't think I'm good enough to be.
Yeah.
I think everyone thinks that. Until they're,
Nick Minute.
Yeah. Who knows? Even Jacinda Ardern, maybe she thought, I can't be Prime Minister.
Oh, yeah. She's doing a great job. So,
yeah. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you find it easier to recruit specifically for the Air Force, the Army, or the Navy? Like, is it the same process in terms of how you enlist in all three?
Yeah. So it is the same process. However, different trades have different requirements, and then there are limited numbers for certain types of trades.
Yeah.
But I would say it is individuals, especially young individuals, have more options these days.
Yeah.
On what they can do and where they want to go. I guess for us, we do have certain things that people like either serving outdoors or whatever, or protecting and building on people's values.
Yeah.
And that's something unique for us. And then Melissa did talk about the teamwork environment, which is great. We call it like a sisterhood or a brotherhood, which is awesome. That you'll get in the Defence Force.
Yeah. What happens if somebody gets sick on site?
So we have
like say I don't know, you guys were out training somewhere and then someone got really sick.
Yep. So pretty much being in the Defence Force is like being like a normal day-to-day job. Like if you get sick, you're going to go to your medical centre and go and see.
But like what I mean is like, so because in your guys' role specifically, I mean you don't want to enlist people that terminally ill or very sick and stuff. So if somebody becomes very, very sick, I'd imagine, particularly if they're very passionate about the army,
they'd be supported all the way.
Yeah, but there'd be a psychological. What's the word? Psychologically, they would be affected, and it might be hard for them to adjust. It'd be like having a passion, like say in rugby, and then your dream is destroyed, sort of thing, because of an injury.
Yep.
So how would you approach in terms of the support that you give them?
Yeah, so we have heaps of people that do get sick or injured throughout the Defence Force, and we have ways and means to support those individuals.
Yeah.
So, i.e., we have our own doctors and medics and stuff like that.
On site.
Yep. So our own clinics. If they can't deal with it, then they can go to outside organisations as well.
Do you have to regularly have like checkups and drug tests and all that stuff with people?
I guess it's just like any other job with regards to that sort of stuff.
But is it like weekly? Is it monthly? 6 monthly?
So we have medicals.
Yeah.
Are they every 5 years?
Yep.
Yeah, we have to do a medical.
Right.
And then, drug tests, they just sort of come and go.
Yeah. This might be a bit of a controversial question, but I think it's important to ask.
Yep.
Because obviously there's this referendum that's going on where they want to potentially legalize marijuana. Are you guys worried about that at all in terms of the effect that would have on people enlisting? Because obviously from a legal standpoint, if it was legalized, yes, you can do it, but I would imagine it would still be a no.
We have a zero policy on drugs in the military. I think was it either synthetics? Is that legal? That's legal? No. It was. When it was legal, it was still 0% policy in the Defence Force. So I can't,
be much the
because I would be worried because obviously alcohol abuse is a big problem.
Yes, so we do have rules. That apply.
So there's no alcohol policy.
So we drink.
Yeah, you do drink? Okay, I don't know. This is what I'm asking.
But
because some people consider alcohol a drug.
Yeah.
Per se.
I'm
just trying to find out what you're actually allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. Because then I would imagine, because this is what usually happens, right? Is something gets legalized, and then they keep pushing it as far as they can,
Well, if you look at it this way, if it's going to hinder your performance in the Defence Force, then I would say that Defence Force is not going to allow it. So even if it does,
and I think it's right to do that.
I don't know what they're gonna say about if it does get legalized in New Zealand, but
have there been talks? Have you heard of talks and meetings or anything about this?
Well,
I don't know. My view is probably that we would not be allowed to consume it for a certain time until it's sort of introduced properly into the country, and just because we'll probably just go by other companies and see the effects. I mean, I understand that we're sort of watching Canada closely. on
Yeah,
how
well, this is the argument that a lot of
country
people.
is.
This is the argument that a lot of people, well, particular people like say Chloe Swarbrick and stuff use. That's why I'm interested. So you guys can drink.
Yeah. So we have
what
to
is it
stop
like? Just
drinking.
one beer, or what is it?
Well, it's just like same again. If you think about like a normal job, we're all adults. If you want to drink, you drink, but making sure that you drink responsibly.
Yeah.
So if you think of going to a university or saying not university is probably a bad example actually. If you go to a normal job, you do we drink alcohol, but obviously.
Yeah, well, like say
know,
I've worked at jobs and you can obviously drink off site and stuff, and there's no testing or anything.
No,
but I would imagine because alcohol would hinder your performance somewhat.
So it depends. There's been situations where we'll have to go away on exercise and stuff, and we'll call it the dries. So you're not allowed any alcohol. It really depends on the activity and what's going on. So for me, being a driver, combat driver by trade, we have restrictions. Like we have to stop drinking 10 hours before we drive. We get a good rest, alcohol out of the system. We're good to go the next day, sort of thing.
Yeah. But do you ever get some people that because they might?
Oh yeah,
and they can't go a week without a drink, and then you guys can go do some military exercise out in the WAPs, and there's no drinking policy, and they're like,
I haven't really come into...
No, never actually had.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but then at the end, there's normally some sort of function, and we'll celebrate finishing a course or an exercise, and we have a few drinks to celebrate and talk about what happened,
which is fair enough.
Yeah, wind down.
Yeah, do you have people that enlist though that don't know about the no drugs and alcohol policy?
No. So they're told that straight away.
Like right from the get-go.
Yep.
That's like the first thing you say?
Well, I make sure that they know. So yeah.
So what, you introduce yourself and say no alcohol policy?
no drugs. So no drugs. And that's in their... that's definitely in the induction phase. So after they've been selected for either Army, Air Force or Navy, they're told on the induction day, which is 4 weeks before they leave on the bus, that we have a 0% drug policy.
Do you still have people try and slip it through?
Yeah, you might get the odd people try
and sneak in a beer or something.
A beer is fine, so that's fine. So people can drink in the defence force, but the drugs that's the one we might have some people try and test us.
Yeah,
but then at the end of the day,
can you give me an example of you snapping someone out?
Oh no, I can't really think of any, to be honest.
Yeah, that's right.
But at the end of the day, if you want to do that stuff, then you pretty much just wasted your time, because if you do get caught, that's it. You're done.
There's no second chances.
No.
Yeah.
So it's a waste of your time, waste of our time. So
do you have people that enlist and then they might not meet all the criteria? Maybe they're fine mentally, but they don't meet the physical criteria.
Yep.
Do they try and re-enlist again, maybe 6 months later or a year later, or is there a down period before they can try and get in again, or is it just nope, you don't get in, so that's it? Yeah,
so we have stand-down periods for a range of different things. Physical is quite. So if someone doesn't meet a physical standard, it is quite easy to train. Yeah. So we have a lot of people. I can talk about here in the Waikato. That aren't so fit. Maybe they haven't trained in a while, and they're like, and they even come to me and say, "Hey, mate, I haven't bloody trained in a year or 6 months. Can you help me?" And we can help people like that. Training people physically is really easy
in comparison to trying to change someone's
psychological state. Okay, that's interesting. Do you guys, in terms of the test that you do, is there computer tests you have to do as well? Like a typing test or anything?
No. So they're all handwritten at the moment, and so people have...
Because this day and age, with people growing up, kids, they don't even, in some schools, they don't even teach people how to write. It's all just, computers and iPads and stuff. So would you get people that come in and they don't even know how to write properly with a pen or a pencil? But they would be...
I don't know if we've come to that yet.
Yeah.
Maybe in another 10 years. They won't know.
So is there anything in place to prepare for that though? Would you have to change how often do you change the period in terms of what's required to get in, the prerequisites? Like how often would they change? Is it every 5 years or every?
The tests have changed slightly, but
in terms of
the attribute test, so the written test they have to do.
Yeah. So what's the requirement?
So there are 6 tests.
6 written tests.
6 written tests they have to do.
And then they can be trade specific as well.
Yeah, and then there's another 2 additional ones that the Airforce have to do. So potentially 8 tests they have to do.
Wow. Okay. And what's required for these written tests? What do they have to do? Do they have to write like an essay or something?
No. So the generic 6 tests. The first one is intelligence test.
Intelligence test.
Yep.
In terms of testing their IQ?
Yeah, to see if they are eligible to become managers or officers in the Defence Force. The next one is a reasoning test, which just deals with patterns. The next one is a basic maths test, which is pretty good. The next one is a verbal test, so they deal with words and
speaking ability.
More spelling and seeing if you can connect words together.
But it wouldn't be like a spelling bee though. Like, please say exaggeration.
No.
How do you spell exaggeration?
No. It's just we give you the first 2 letters of a word, and you have to find out what
what the remaining letters would be.
The remaining letters are, and to spell it correctly.
Right.
So that's the.
What if it's 2 letters that could spell multiple words?
Oh, the words that we put there. They are challenging. However, it starts off easy and then it gets harder and harder towards the end.
Right.
To a certain level.
The next one is advanced maths, so that one's a bit harder.
Advanced maths, like algebra? Like calculus sort of thing?
Yeah. All our tests are all on our website as well, so people can like download them. The mock exams. The next one is a mechanical reasoning test, so pretty much how things move. I quite enjoy that one because I'm an engineer, so.
When you say how they move,
yep.
What is it like a video of something moving and then you have to?
Nah. So it's you just have to visualize things on like cogs and stuff like that and how things move. And then that's all the tests. And then you have 2 additional tests for people who are looking at going Air Force.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is there one particular test that people seem to struggle on?
Nah, I would say people.
It's all over the board.
All over.
Yeah.
We do encourage people to definitely study those tests before they come.
Yeah, I would imagine so. But obviously, it's not exactly the same. It's just a mock-up test, right?
Yeah, it's a mock test.
So is the test actually a lot harder than the mock-up test?
They're very similar. Similar. So I tell people, if you study for these tests, you're going to pass. You've only got 2 chances to pass these tests ever in your whole life. So.
Oh, you only get 2 chances to do it?
Yeah.
And then that's it?
And that's it.
Wow.
So,
do you have a lot of people that fail both times?
I have had some individuals fail, and then I had to tell them, hey, sorry, you can't ever join the Defence Force, which...
Oh, that must be horrible.
Yeah, it is.
Tell people that.
Some people do cry because, it's been their passion, their dream.
Yeah.
But, we need to keep our standards and maintain our standards.
Which is fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. But that would be hard.
Yeah.
I suppose that's one of the cons of recruiting.
It is, because everyone that comes through the door, because I'm from the mighty Waikato, that I want people to to join.
Yeah.
And so, if they can bring the goods and they've done the hard work, like me and Melissa have done it, and I tell them, hey, if I can pass, I'm a Māori boy from Taumaranui, then you can pass. Just got to put in the hard work,
So is it different? So will you do the test? So with the written test and stuff?
Yep.
Is it based on where each... Because you said there's multiple bases. So would you go to the base or do you just... or do you have to go to Waiouru?
For the testing?
Yeah.
Oh, so those are run at our recruiting centres normally.
Right.
So they're like our little satellite bases.
Okay.
So people in the Waikato will either come here in Hamilton.
Right.
Or I can go to their schools, depending on what works for them.
Where are these recruitment bases?
Oh, so there's one here in Hamilton. They're all over New Zealand.
Oh, okay. So someone in like a really rural area they wouldn't have to go that far to find a...
No. Or we can talk to the organisation and try and get a recruiter to come to them, as long as we've got, a couple of people who are keen, depending on where they are.
But during the test, you wouldn't like, because you know how like sometimes if you're doing something, like I know this in school, if I was doing a test or something and someone's standing over you while you're doing the test, it's really, really intimidating. But so I'm wondering if you guys would do that during the test, just to psychologically check if they could handle it.
No, so we just watch in the front, and obviously they're already under a lot of stress and pressure. So we try not to do that.
We want them to join.
We want them to join. So we might check and see if they have any questions, or that's it, and then we just watch and make sure hopefully they pass. Yeah.
And how long do you get with each test?
They're all timed. They're
not all after, like one after the other, are they?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
So, and how long for each test?
So generally, for those 6 tests, we would start here at our Hamilton office at around about 9:30, and then they'll finish their tests around about 12. So all
6 tests
by
12.
Yep, by 12. So there's just one after another.
So they do each test and then bang, and then next one, and then
just straight into it. If they're going.
So they don't. So each test though, they'd be different in terms of time length, or is it just you've got this long to do all 6 tests?
No. So we'll start off with each different test, and then they have different time limits for certain reasons.
Yeah.
But they are one straight after another. But we make sure we tell them, we give them a brief first, and then ask them any questions, and we start the timer. And it can be quite challenging for some people, but we make sure we tell them, this is what's going to happen. Yeah.
So have you guys have any friends personally that are like, hey, I want to join the army, and then you're like, I don't know if you'd fit, man. or you like, no. Or you're very, very encouraging and like
Very encouraging.
Yeah.
My son wants to join the army.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my son's 5, and I think he may end up joining the army. He's got camo everything now. That's quite funny, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I actually love it. I think it's cool.
I'm not bothered.
You got 2 chances with that test.
Yeah. His nan just brought him like a aircraft carrier, because I brought him some those little army men toys you get from like Kmart or warehouse.
Oh yes.
And
like the G.I. Joe type things.
So I got him a whole heap of those, and then now he puts them all on his aircraft carrier, which is massive, and he just drives around the house and stuff like that. So yeah, he's got a camo beanie, camo undies, camo shoes.
Singlets. So was this a natural thing with him? Did he just he just kind of just got into it?
He just wants camo everything now, because I'm.
But did you? What I mean was, like, did you try and plant that into him?
No, I didn't.
No, so it was just a natural thing that he just wanted to.
Yeah, he's seen it.
Same with you.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's just seen what I've done, and
there is something cool about like the army though, and the uniform and everything. Like, it is a cool thing. Like, it's you know what I mean? It's like an in thing, particularly with youth as well. Yeah. So that helps.
It's cool.
Like, it'd probably be harder if like people didn't look at the army in a cool way, but they do. So then it would probably be harder to get people to enlist. So
yeah, well, I take my son to like all my stuff, like when I got medals and stuff like that, or to different occasions and stuff like that. So he sees me, with all that shiny stuff on, so he's like, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. Because you came back recently from you were overseas. You had a placement overseas or something, didn't you? You did some assistance somewhere overseas. Like, do you guys go to Australia much and help there or anything?
So there was an exercise, Hamel.
I was over in Australia just recently though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was that for the army, or was that just?
Yeah, that was to help out for young engineering officers.
Oh, okay. So so did your your commanding officer just say, hey, do you want to go?
Yeah.
Australia?
So they just said, go over there and help out. And
because we're actually very small, like how I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
And so we all know each other. I mean, generally, we all have quite tight relationships with each other as well. And even with our command teams, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I think that person will be good for the job.
Yeah.
And then
I'm not sure if you know, or if you can even say this, but would you know the rough numbers of how many people in the actual army?
Oh, to be honest with you, I actually don't know the figures. I don't want to say and get it wrong. So,
is it? I thought it was about. Is it five or six for the whole defence force?
If it's wrong, I can always write in the comments section on Spotify and stuff that it's actually this.
Yeah, I honestly don't. I have no idea.
But of the people who are in the army, how many of them would actually have overseas placements or assist in other countries?
Depending on how long you stay in.
Yeah. So have you done any stuff overseas?
I've been to Egypt twice. And
Egypt?
Antarctica once.
And Antarctica?
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. I've actually heard that in Antarctica, there's like 6 months of the year where you can't actually land, or you
Because it's winter.
Yeah, because it's winter,
Yeah.
or you have to. People have to go out with like lights and stuff to steer the plane because you actually can't see.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah. So with my trade, transport, every year there's a ship. So in Antarctica, they have all their different bases for scientific research, etc. So we actually work along with the Americans, and they have a ship that comes from America. On their way to Antarctica, they stop in Christchurch, and we chuck a couple of containers on for Scott Base.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and we're
Is that
like-
just like food and supplies? And
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the year.
yeah.
So this is the beginning of every year. And then I guess, I don't know exactly how it would go, but because America picks up some containers for us, we send 2 sections down of drivers to unload and load the ship, sorry. Yeah. And it's
Okay.
about
So
2
how-
weeks.
Oh, so you stay there for 2 weeks?
About 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
Because I know there's some people that live on that base like all year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we go down and do
So this is during summer.
so it's January, February of every year. it
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Okay.
And
But
'cause
what time does the sun rise and sunset though? Because
doesn't set
at
or
all.
rise.
Oh yes, of course.
In the
yes.
summer.
Yes. That was a stupid question. Yeah, fair enough.
And you'll go back to your room to sleep. So I was on night shift when I went down, and it wasn't bright light, like a dull light.
Okay.
And then but it was colder, definitely colder at
yeah,
night.
yeah.
And then you
So,
go back.
but
and,
you were able to get to sleep though? Or did
yeah,
you-
you have shutters on your windows to
Okay.
stop the light coming in,
Ah,
so you can sleep.
that's cool. And do you know how many people are roughly? So when you go, how many of you are going to the Scott base?
So we'll say
Is it
about
like a small group?
So you've got transport driving the trucks, and then you've got movement operators
Right.
who are the ones sort of helping with the actual movement of the containers and putting them on the trucks.
Right.
So ideally, a driver will just drive down onto the pier, and then the move operator will take control or talk with the crane operators, drop it on our truck, make sure it's all secure, and then we'll have a destination to go. A destination, to go to and drop the container off
Yeah.
in the McMurdo base, and then there'll be obviously our ones that will drive over the hill to Scott Base.
Oh, okay. And the other place you said you did work at was Egypt.
Yeah.
So what was it? What was that for?
Sinai Peninsula. So we just go and so we have a driving team there as well. So how do I explain this? So back in the early 80s or late 70s, there was a war between Israel and Egypt, fighting over the land of the Sinai Peninsula.
Yeah.
Egypt won it, and then from there, there was an organisation called the MFO, Multi-Force and Observers,
Okay.
and we all come together just to keep the peace
Yeah.
from Israel and Egypt.
Right.
So, and then what comes with that is several observation posts that go down the peninsula.
Yeah.
And so my job, the first time I went, was just a driver to run food, water, whatever they needed at the observation posts or the sites there.
So do they approach you with this, or did you specifically ask to go to Egypt to do this?
So with my trade, it's sort of like a given. If you hang around long enough, you'll get to go.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And everyone wants to go to Egypt.
Yeah. So
work.
you saw the permits and everything too.
Yeah. And then the next time I went, I was sergeant, and so it was a different rank, and I went over as a driver trainer. So I was the person making sure that all the other soldiers from the other forces knew how to drive our vehicles in camp, like pretty much like a FAM, and just made sure that they knew what they were doing and that they actually had a license to drive. And then I just gave them a little ticket and they're good to go.
You guys sound honestly like you got like the best jobs ever, right?
No, it's all right.
Like honestly, it just sounds so cool. I kind of wish when I was younger now that I'd like enlisted in the army, but I didn't. So, like, what's the cutoff age actually?
There's no cutoff
There's
age.
no cutoff
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
So I guess that'll get filtered out like with everything else if you can do the fitness and
Yeah, yeah. So I obviously you'd get predominantly younger people as opposed to older people. Though then, what do you define as older? I guess.
Yeah, well, we get people, applying at 16 and a half and all the way to we had people apply. We had an individual who was 54.
54.
Yeah. So that's one individual.
And he passed and everything.
She
Sorry.
Yeah, she was applying. I'm not sure on how she went, but in the defence force, it's not about age. So age only about a number.
I know, but you know how there's as you get older, usually your body slows down.
Oh, to be honest with you, I would say, yeah. They say it does, but to be honest, as you get older, you get more mature, more experiences.
Yeah.
or you're just smarter.
Yeah.
Have you heard of David Sinclair? He's this guy who's studying to reverse aging because he believes it's a disease as opposed to something that's natural.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's working on basically we have 7 genes called sirtuin genes which control the age of a person. Mm-hmm. And so he's studying at the moment and he's formulated these pills or these drugs to take, which he's testing on himself. But yeah, he believes that there will become a time where you can reverse aging.
Wow.
So yeah, theoretically you could be 120 and still be in the army.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Get rid of
Will
wrinkles.
I be around?
Yeah. I think we if it was to become a mainstream thing, it'll probably be the next generation that get the benefits of it. Probably not us.
Our children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, I might wrap it up there unless there's anything else you guys want to cover. Anything specifically that you think the public should know?
I think a big one for us is, if people are looking at, potential career in the defence force, try not to look at it as like what you see in the movies.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. A lot of people,
Yeah.
like I even know people that watch movies and they think relationships
Yeah.
are like the movies, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's a very, very valid point.
Yeah.
So when you say not like the movies,
Yeah.
what specifically are you saying?
So when you join the defence force, it is just like a normal job. So once you do your training at the start, then you will go to your job, and typically from 8 to 4:30, that's your job, and then you might have to train on some weekends. You get to go out and do your hobby and spend time with your family and all that normal stuff you would do if you were not in the defence force. Exactly the same stuff, and you get to live where you want to live. Like I live in Tauranga, but I work here in Hamilton, so
Really? Do you commute every day?
yeah, most days, yeah.
That's a long drive. Mind you, I'm originally from Auckland, and
Yeah, and I used to live in Auckland as well.
yeah. So traffic's it's probably about the same
Yeah.
from driving.
But like the defence force has added variety, so heaps of variety. Like I've done multiple courses, been to different places, and it's provided different challenges as well. So that's why I'm still in.
Yeah. So there's a bit of flexibility to it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
and
Sports and education.
yeah, heaps of stuff like that. Like it's not just about shooting stuff that what people think what we do.
Which is I think the misconception.
Yeah. Like I'm a qualified engineer, assistant physical training instructor. I can jump out of planes, parachuting, and then I'm just finishing my diploma in business.
Yeah.
Starting my bachelor in business,
Oh,
and like
wow.
heaps of other random stuff as well.
So sorry, when did you enlist? What age?
17,
Okay.
so 2004.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's heaps of cool stuff you can do. Not just I want them to go to say for instance people go, I want my son or daughter to go to university. You can do that stuff in the defence force.
Yeah.
Is it paid for by the because do you still have to have a student loan when you're studying this stuff within the army?
So the Defence Force will pay for you if you want to study anything exterior. It's sort of only come in the last 5-ish years. I mean, you used to have to study something that was going to benefit the military. So actually at the moment I'm doing real estate. So
Wow.
like,
well, that is the
it's
business to get into with the way houses are going.
and then I think a big thing for me is I love playing sports at school.
Yeah.
I've played netball, volleyball, softball for the army.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to Australia next month to play volleyball for the army team and go and
I'm
play against
getting
Aussies.
more and more envious of you guys.
Yeah, our rugby boys are over in Japan right now.
And then league,
Yeah.
army league, they're going to Aussie next week, I think.
Rugby,
So we work hard. There's obviously times where we work hard, we're away from home, but there's so many other awesome opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I feel like sometimes there's this huge push for young people. You have to go to uni. You have to go to uni.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, well, you know, like there's a lot of people I know who go to university and they get these huge loans and then they can't pay them back, particularly if they can't find work in their field. And, you know, things like the defence force or a trade can really be beneficial. And I think it's trying to
And then
rewire people to look at it in a different way, because I think they're quite narrow-minded in terms of...
Yeah, well, as Lloyd said earlier, and if you're not 100% with that trade, you can trade change
Yeah.
and learn something. Or if you need a new challenge, or so I'm being transport and then all of a sudden I want to be a builder, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously depending on your command team, but generally people will trade change.
Yeah.
And that's why it's my job to try and tell people, hey, this is the opportunities we can provide. But
Well, you've definitely sold it, dude.
yeah, well, people don't know.
You could be a salesman outside.
Yeah,
you know?
awesome. There we go.
Well, he is for the defence force.
That's my new job. Cool.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
I'm tempted to enroll now myself. But yeah, so if anybody wants to enlist or is interested at all, they just go on the New Zealand Defence Force website, is it?
Yeah. So you can just go to defencecareers.mil.nz to have a look at our website for either Army, Air Force, and Navy, or part-time jobs. So,
Yeah. Or just find out where the recruiting centres are.
Yeah.
Closer to you, they'll be on the internet and do a walk-in if you want.
Yeah.
Sweet. Cool. Well, thanks a lot, guys. All right. That's the show, guys. Until next time, stay safe.